Hi, I'm Linda Evans Shepherd, and I'm the author of When You Don't Know What to Pray, How to Talk to God About Anything, as well as When You Can't Find God, How to Ignite the Power of His Presence. Today, as I travel and speak, I find that never before has there been more heartache and more despair. In fact, I was recently speaking in Iowa. I tell this story in When You Don't Know What to Pray. And I met a lady whose eyes were dead. And as I talked to her, she said, I am angry at myself and I loathe God. And I said, what happened to you? She said, well, my husband died of a heart attack. She said, I hate my job. My son-in-law committed suicide. I'm having to raise my granddaughters, and I'm doing a terrible job. And as I looked into her eyes, I said, how would you like to be free? She said, I would. And together we knelt right there on the conference room floor, and she prayed a very simple prayer, a prayer that many people have told me that they too have prayed as they read When You Don't Know What to Pray. She said, Lord, I give you my burdens. I give you my anger at you, at myself, at my husband for dying, at my son-in-law for killing himself, at my boss and job, and at the fact that I'm having a hard time with my granddaughters. I just give it to you. And I looked at her and I said, this is what it feels like to be free. She said, I am free. And she ran to tell her daughter, I'm free, I'm free. The lady that was standing next to me looked at me and she said, what did you do to her? I said, I didn't do anything. She learned how to pray, and God supernaturally took her burdens. Another thing that people need more than ever before is a real relationship with God. You know, people know about God and they assume that their knowledge is a relationship with God. I met an actor not that long ago on an airplane, and as we were talking, I asked him, what is the weirdest thing that people say to you? He said, well, Linda, it happened to me again just the other day. I met this fella and we had some friendly words. Then a couple of days later, I ran into him again and he said, Gary, I was watching TV with my friends and my family and you came on the set, and I turned to them and I said, look, there's Gary Grubbs. He's my friend. Gary said, that man doesn't know me. We do not have a relationship. He doesn't know if I'm even married or if I have children. He doesn't know what my favorite foods are or what my hobbies are. And that's exactly what I'm finding around the country as I speak and write. Today, people don't know how to have a relationship with God. They don't know how to find faith and saving grace. That's why in my books, I always have prayers that lead people into a saving faith, a real relationship with God. You know, another thing that I'm finding is that people have never been more burdened than they are today. I call it stacked grief, with one crisis on top of another, one tragedy, one trauma, one divorce. Heartbreak is everywhere, and people don't know how to manage all of their heartache. And you know, it reminds me of the time I was on the New York City subway. I had just come in from JFK Airport. My co-writer of the Potluck Club novels invited me to go with her through the subway system to our hotel. She said it would be an adventure. Well, she had that right. Because when we got to that first end of the line, and there I am with my 5 pieces of luggage, trying to get out of the subway and then up a narrow flight of steps, Eva had no problem. She just bumped her one big suitcase up. But I had to put one suitcase around my neck, balance 2 suitcases on top of each other, put one in front of me, And as I began to climb those steps, I noticed that they were so narrow, my whole foot didn't even fit. So here I am on my tippy toes, and I'm halfway up, and I begin to lose my balance. Now, my physicist husband would tell you that I was oscillating. But suddenly, a teenage boy ran up and looked me in the eye and said, "Can I have your suitcase?" Now, everyone had told me back in Denver not to let anybody touch my stuff. But since I was about to fall, I looked at him and I said, "Yes, you can have my suitcase." And so he grabbed my suitcase and ran right up that flight of stairs. And he waited for me. He carried the weight of my burden, although it was still my stuff. That's exactly what Jesus wants to do when he comes along beside us and says, "Can I have that? Can I carry that for you?" He wants to carry the weight of our burden. And as we continue our journey, if we don't know how to give him our burden, we are going to be crushed. We are going to trip. We are going to lose our balance. I tell that story in When You Can't Find God, and I teach people how to pray so that they can give God their burdens.